Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBit Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing weekend. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and for all those that love to ask what platform I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's the platform that I use. It's not the one that you have to use. So again, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, feel free to Google it, YouTube search it, and I hope you find what you are looking for. So let's go ahead and for our Sunday stock talk. This is pretty much where we come together as a team and talk about the top stocks that our viewers that tune on in live see value in. So I really hope that you guys enjoy. I really hope that I earned your thumbs up. I also did want to remind you, I did upload a video yesterday. This was one that I made more for fun, and it was because we've been having a lot of people ask about the very basics of like confirmation or what do I look for on a reversal. So I made this little like basics of confirmation cheat sheet. It's a free download. It should be the first link in the description. If you don't see it, just refresh the page and it should pop up. It's super simple. This is just what I like to focus on. And I hope that, even out of the 5 points that I point out of like, where people could potentially buy a stock, the most common mistakes that I make in a very simple template. So let me know in the comment section if you guys enjoyed these. I made about 3 of these different kinds of cheat sheets last week. And again, we were just sending them out for free. I love the feedback that we get because we're a very visual, I would say, channel, well, obviously, right? And when it comes down to being able to make these little PDFs, it makes it a little bit easier for people to kind of like have something to go back on to, right? So let me go ahead and let's see. I like it. So just wanted to say what's up. Hope that you guys are having a pretty solid weekend. And what's going on, Tyler? What's up? What's up? I see a couple new names that I don't see pop up here too often. So if you're tuning in for the first time, don't be afraid to say what's up. So I appreciate the cheat sheets. And again, let me know if you guys have any ideas for new cheat sheets. I would love to make them for you guys. So what's going on? What's going on, Brian? What's going on, Markel? What's going on, Salman? What's up, Moses? What's up? What's up? We got Brian, Antonio, Ben, Jacob. Oh, there we go. What's going on, Ish? What's up? What's up? We got Dylan. We got Trey. Good evening. I really do appreciate you guys tuning on in. We got the best. Oh man, I'm trying to read it all. Let's see. What's up? What's up? From Pittsburgh. What's going on, Sarah? So we got Nicholas, Paul. Stop for a minute. I'm back now. What's going on, Paul? But yeah, really do appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoy this Sunday stock talk. It shouldn't be too long. And if you guys feel like I earned it, we'd really appreciate the thumbs up on this video. So what if you made a don't cheat sheet? I don't know what you mean by that, Russell. But let's go ahead and get started. All I ask you within this live stream is if you guys would like me to break down the stock that you see value in, don't just post the ticker symbol. I hope that's not too much for me to ask. All I ask you is to post it in the ticker callout format so I know that you've done your own due diligence. I think that's mutually respectful, right? Knowing that you've done some due diligence, so you're just not, going to think or do whatever it is that I say. Again, it's just 100% my opinion, and I hope that you take that with a grain of salt, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Stock Rocks, what's up, what's up? We can't have that. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. So we got ticker symbol AMD. What's going on, Rick? I appreciate you tuning in. A little Ric Flair, here it goes. AMD, there's no question that AMD pushed up quite a bit. One of the things that we are seeing right now, I'm not too sure if this is why you're bringing it up, but because it pulled back quite a bit from its initial push up, AMD has had a pretty consistent uptrend for the past almost 2 months. This is one of the first times that it begins to really trend below the EMA line. It's definitely pulled back before, but it tends to find a reversal right away where it kind of flatlines and then continues to uptrend. So right now we are seeing a pullback. The RSI is still descending. The MACD is showing signs of a potential reversal, but we still don't have confirmation. So one of the things that I would look for is if AMD, actually does begin to show signs of a reversal, I think it would be crucial to wait for, it to actually find a support and then actually begin to make higher highs. So I'm going to set my alert on both sides because I think that we can both agree that it would be great, right? If AMD continues with its uptrend pattern and continues to push up. But let's be honest, right? I think I can speak for a lot of people where it sucks when you sometimes try to buy the dip and it continues to sell off. So I think patience is going to be, again, a huge challenge this week. So if you can challenge yourself to stay patient and actually wait for that reversal to actually happen, I think you'll save yourself a lot of stress. But I really do appreciate the request on AMD. So here it goes. Let's go ahead and do PAYS. What's going on, Mohammed? So we got Pace. So Pace has had a pretty consistent pattern. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it overall began to change its direction. We were showing signs of higher highs. Now we're making lower lows. I do see why you're bringing this up, right? Looks like it's doing a lot of consolidation right here after an aggressive sell-off. It would make sense on why it could push up. It doesn't have to. The margin of profit is attractive, all that good stuff. I would say price action, right, and the overall direction that it begins to kind of trade is going to be crucial. It looks like based off previous supports, we're consolidating around that general area. It doesn't have to reverse, and that's just a little friendly reminder that I know you're aware of. So again, if you do plan to enter into PAYS, just make sure that the direction is in your favor and make sure that it doesn't continue to sell off. And if it does, I would definitely have some form of exit plan or some form of stop loss, trailing stop loss, or mental stop loss, just in case things do begin to go south, as they always can, right? That you have some form of risk management. But I appreciate that request. Let's go ahead and break this one down. So what is that? AXNX. AXN. Here it goes. We had a nice consistent uptrend pattern. I could already tell that this thing has pretty low volume. Looks like we found somewhat of a support right around $20. You guys can see that there's been many attempts of this thing trying to pull back, and it holds above $20. So we could see that as a potential support. So I see why you're bringing this one up. Just a reminder, the overall direction is not in your favor. The SMA line is descending. It's been descending for quite some time. There is a pattern, so I do see why it is that you're checking this one out, and the margin of potential return is definitely there. Also, it did go through recent earnings, so again, this time that it pulled back could be a little bit different than when it normally pulls back, as there's more likely fundamental reason on why it's selling off. So again, technicals can only do so much. As we know, fundamentals, when they take over, they become a little bit more dominant, right? So I'm going to set my alert for the break below 20 as just because it has bounced here before. It doesn't mean that it has to again, but it would make sense once we get confirmation that this thing can begin to push up. So I'm excited to see, and I'm excited to see yourself, challenge yourself, to stay patient and wait for that confirmation. So I think that's a big commitment we can all have this week. So Ismail is posting everything in the ticker call out format. So again, if you guys would like me to break something down for you, just please post it in the ticker call out format. So is that really the ticker symbol? Oh wow. Oh, Six Flags. Wow, that's pretty cool. Here we go. We're going through these pretty quickly. I like it. So one of the things that I do want to point out, and correct me if you think that I'm incorrect, right? Which I'm okay with. But the overall SMA line is descending, right? Therefore, we've been seeing a lot of consolidation on. I try to look at overall direction and to see if that's in our favor. And one of the things that I'm seeing is that we've been making these lower lows and lower highs, right? Overall, big picture, it peaks out and then it continues to sell off. It pushes up, it consolidates, and it wouldn't come at much of a surprise if this thing actually begins to, sell off. Can it push up? Of course, anything can happen, but it looks like we've been experiencing some form of consolidation and resistance where it's been struggling to push up. Therefore, because the overall direction in the SMA line and all that is descending, then it wouldn't be such a surprise, right, if this thing actually continues to sell off. So I would be very careful with this. If you do enter this position, I would have some form of risk management, keeping it pretty tight just in case if this thing does end up selling off. You definitely don't want to partake on that potential 9% loss. But you are correct, just consolidate enough where if it does build this kind of bull flag pattern, that it does, and it does begin to shoot up, that'd be great. But just based off of recent patterns and how things have been going, I just wouldn't be so hopeful, right, for that to be in your favor. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Frozen Guy RS, what's up? So CPRI, here we go. All right, so we're getting a pretty consistent descending pattern. We began to consolidate quite some time. I don't feel like there's a super clear direction here. We were descending, we began to consolidate, and now it's pushing up. So that could almost be a little contradicting. I wouldn't feel super comfortable, on this trade. I do get why it is calling it out because it pulled back. The MACD is now beginning to show signs of reversal. The RSI isn't the best. One of the things that I would just like to ask you, or you should probably ask yourself, is the margin of profit worth it, and does it outweigh the potential it has to sell off? And if you have some form of like risk to reward ratio and the direction is in your favor, then I would just set up that proper plan. It looks like you had a pretty solid day on Friday, pushed 3.85%, which of course is great, but I'm going to set my alert just so we could follow up with this one. But I just feel like one of the things that I really like to focus on is a clear pattern and a clear direction, and I don't feel like I really have that with this. So I would just be a little bit more on edge about it, but that's just my opinion, right? Never seen you live. Really excited. Oh, appreciate you, Bob. Or Jacob. I don't. Oh, yeah, Bob. Was that Bob or Jacob? Okay. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. So ticker symbol SBUX. So that's Starbucks, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So can I get your guys' input on Starbucks? What do you guys think? So we had a very clear overall direction, right? Overall SMA line was in our favor. It was showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. And then we began to trade below the SMA line. Again, this is very important to me. I've said this multiple times that on the big charts, when the SMA line begins to point its direction and there's a reversal or change of pattern, it's very important to kind of like understand the flow, right? So right now you're talking about Starbucks and how this could be a potential maybe swing trade or day trade or something like that. All I want to point out is that it's been descending, right? It is no longer aggressively selling off. If we look at it for the past like half a month, right? It hasn't been really selling off, but it hasn't been pushing up. And one of the things that I like to, remind our viewers is it's all about being an efficient trader, right? So it's not just about getting in right now and then actually hoping that it pushes up. There's no clear direction that this thing is increasing in price. Is it a good deal? Sure. A lot of people can say that because it pulled back from where it's peaked out at. I get that. But right now the direction is not in your favor and you're not missing out on anything because it's not really pushing up, or the pattern just isn't there. So if it pushes up to $100 tomorrow, are you really going to feel like some form of FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, right? So you're like, no, because like there was no indication of that. So my biggest focus with this would be, I want to feel comfortable and confident with where I put my money. And right now, this is not showing me signs of growth. So I'd keep it very simple. I'll set my alert for the break again above the SMA line. Again, good things come when you're patient. And if you really see that much of an opportunity on Starbucks, which if you do, I think that's great. Allow that opportunity to present itself and focus on being an efficient trader. Don't just try to be hopeful. I think there's a big difference from a hopeful trader and an efficient trader. You want to, take, at least for me, a big focus is taking part of a position when the action is happening. I think that goes a long way. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. But I really like this. So I'm going to set my alert for break below. So if it begins to break below $80, but also I already set my alert for the break above the SMA line. So let's see. Yeah, I think just a friendly reminder, if you're not gonna post everything in the ticker call out format, so Jack, you want me to break this down for you just like everyone else, you have to post it in the ticker call out format. If you don't, you can post it 1,000 times and it makes no difference, right? Just be respectful to yourself. We want you to do well, and we want to know that you've done your own due diligence. That's all it's for, and it's not to offend you. It's not because we're being mean, and I hope you know that. We really want to empower you to be efficient and have some form of understanding of your trade. So we got Isaac here. Woo woo. So let's go ahead and break down Roku. I appreciate you posting that in the ticker call out format. Here it goes. So we got Roku. There's no question that Roku's been pushing up, right? Ever since it had this overall reversal after earnings. Earnings had a really aggressive sell-off, found a support, and began to push up. There's no question that it's still doing a really great job holding above the EMA line. I'm not huge on Roku. I've never wanted to really partake in too much. I feel like it's there's a lot of hype behind it, and correct me if I'm wrong. It moves a little bit too aggressive, and it's just not my thing, right? There is no question that it is overbought and does have a lot of margin for it to pull back. But the MACD isn't still in its favor. It's almost doing this like divergence where it consolidated so much that it went through the full MACD reversal, and we see this happen from time to time, and it's almost building this like bull flag pattern, right? This like ascending triangle, and it could potentially pop off. But there is no question that this thing is overbought. It wouldn't come at much of a surprise if it does begin to pull back. I would, because it's so overbought, but because it still has potential to continue to run, especially because I think that there's a lot of hype behind it. It takes a very specific type of trader to be okay with this. But if I were to trade this, which I'm not saying I will, I would solely focus on this as a swing, as a day trade. And the reason why is because it's so overbought that if it does begin to run, great, I can see there to be a decent enough margin of profit for it to potentially be worth it for some people, but it's overbought enough on the big charts that I could see a potentially pullback. So because of that, I wouldn't want to run the risk of holding this overnight because it's so overbought. So let me know in the comment section if you guys agree with me on that. So let's go ahead and break this one down. So what's going on? What username? KRTX. KRTX. Here we go. Okay, so I'm not huge on, I do remember this one being talked a lot about. I'm not huge on pump and dumps. I don't care for these. You could see that it had no volume, and then all of a sudden, you can then see the volume bars, and before you can't. So there's no question that there's some form of pump, regardless if it's real or not. It looks like it's been pulling back. I just don't like partaking in this. I don't want to comment on it too much because we have a lot of beginner traders that watch our channel, and I just don't think it's going to be the most eye-opening for them to talk about something that can be so potentially dangerous, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got ticker symbol ARAV. So ARAV. Same thing here. Very low volume. All of a sudden, it receives a big push. The volume's there. Looks like another pump. I just don't like that, or like to focus on that. So, all right, we got Facebook. Here we go. So, no question that Facebook has been showing signs of a consistent uptrend pattern. It looks like based off previous highs, right, we're experiencing some form of resistance right around 200. Not too sure if we'll see a pullback or actually begin to make higher highs. I wouldn't say Facebook is a good deal right now. The main reason I could see traders focus on this is just because of its direction being so consistent. So it's overbought enough that I wouldn't want to really swing trade it. Again, if we're a deal hunter and that's our main focus, again, just looking at the price and where it's at right now, I need to allow an opportunity to present itself. Can it push up? Facebook, it just doesn't normally do that aggressively. So I'm just saying that if you want to focus on consistency and that direction continues to be in your favor, then great, I can see why. But altogether, it's not a good deal, or it's not a good deal, like enough of a good deal that I would be crazy about it. I did want to talk about Tesla very quickly. Do you guys mind if we dedicate a little bit of time? I'll do two or three more breakdowns, but I think we're going to see something very, very interesting this week. I don't know if you guys remember, but Tesla, after they released their Tesla truck, right, it experienced quite a bit of a sell-off, right? And I'm not too sure if that was because of the design or if that was because of the cracked, windshield or anything like that. But one of the things that I think it's one of their largest pre-orders that they've ever had, and I'm not even sure if it's going to pop up in the news. Yeah, it actually already popped up. Tesla has nearly taken 150,000 pre-orders, and I believe Elon Musk commented about this, that those 150,000 pre-orders are worth $8 billion. So that is huge. No question about it. Again, those are pre-orders. One of the things that was becoming very popular on social media was people posting like that they ordered it. It's only like $100 deposit. So this is what I wanted to share. I think that the 150,000 pre-orders, and because the deposit that is fully refundable is made so accessible, people are just placing them. I personally know people that don't plan to actually commit to buy it. So I would be actually surprised if half of those people actually commit to their orders, and that's a big difference. So I think Tesla did a beautiful job with how they positioned that and making it so accessible, because we know that once they released that information and that data that they received 150,000 pre-orders, they're already trending right because of what happened with their unveil. And on top of that, when it comes down to how their stock is valued and how other investors will then look at the company, where it's received 150,000 pre-orders for this, I think they did an absolute beautiful job with this. And how they simply presented it. So let me know what you guys think about this, and we can kind of go from there. But I think that it's going to be very interesting of what we see with Tesla, and how it reacts. It would make sense for Tesla to experience a huge push, and then we could follow up with it. So but yeah, let's go ahead and just wanted to comment on that very quickly. Again, it doesn't have to react like that, but it wouldn't come at much of a surprise if we see Tesla begin to push up, and due to that news of the 150,000 pre-orders. Let's go ahead and people will forget about the $100 because it will take at least 3 years. Yeah, that's really funny. All right, let's go ahead and break down a couple more stocks, and then we can pretty much get on with our Sunday. But I hope that you guys are excited. I hope that you guys are excited for this week and everything that it has to offer. So one of the little heads up that I have for you, for Grub, is its overall direction. It's a descending pattern. It's been making lower lows. It's been making lower highs, and no question that it has been pushing up recently. But the overall direction, again, I think the SMA line does a beautiful job indicating that. It's just not a good enough deal. So if you see value in this consistency aspect, then great, so be it. It looks like it's just trying to recover from its aggressive sell-off. But again, it wouldn't come at much of a surprise as it's done this before and then just continues to drop. So I'm not too sure if this margin of potential profit outweighs the potential risk, especially because that overall direction has been descending so much. So yeah, I've heard a couple contradicting things about Grub, but again, I haven't looked too much into it. I just know that it's been selling off quite a bit. So let's go ahead and break down two more. So here we go. Argo doing a lot of consolidation. Looks like it's still, again, an overall descending pattern. We're doing a lot of consolidation here, so it wouldn't come at much of a surprise if it actually does begin to push up. I'm just going to keep this one simple, and we can set our alerts. But just as much as it could push up, it could push down as well. But it has been consolidating for what? Maybe a week, 2 weeks. So again, it's not about trying to just get in and hope that it pushes up. Let's set those alerts. Let's be and focus on an efficient trade. And if it actually begins to take movement, then we can simply follow up with it. So let's go ahead and break down. I want to do this one. So Disney released some pretty solid news. It pushed up quite a bit, right? So here we go. Disney looking a little bit more on the overbought side, but again, a pretty strong resistance right around 150. No question it's overbought, but the MACD and all that, because of how much it consolidated, looks like it's still holding above the EMA line. Would it come at much of a surprise if Disney actually begins to pull back? I don't think so, but also it's consolidated enough that I can definitely see this thing pushing up. One of the things that I want to remind you is that the way that I view this is, of course, Disney can continue to push up. That's not the focus I have. The focus I have is, okay, if the direction is in my favor, now following up, is the opportunity cost worth it? And I just wouldn't necessarily think so. I don't think the margin of profit outweighs the margin of loss, so the risk to reward ratio just isn't there. So to keep it super simple, it doesn't meet all my criteria, although it is still, holding and trying to show signs of an uptrend. But I'm going to set my alert for both sides, and then we can simply follow up with it. So all right, let's go ahead and do one more. Ricky, what broker are you using? Raphael, just like all my other videos, I use the Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's what I use. You don't have to use it. It's just an option out of so many that are out there. So here we go. So we got ticker symbol box. I appreciate you tuning in, Tristan. So here we go. We got ticker symbol box. We did quite a bit of breakdowns in this one. All right, I don't like this one too much overall. Was showing signs of a descending pattern, pushed up, a lot of consolidation here. No super clear direction. If anything, it's slowly selling off. I can see this thing potentially push up, but it's so close to earnings that I wouldn't even want to risk it. So 1126 is its earnings, and there's not a super clear direction or anything like that that would make this thing crazy worthwhile for me. So because of that, I would just have to say I wouldn't be too focused on it. So here we go. What's going on, Mike? So QCOM, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you again for your time. Here we go, guys. Okay, I like this one. So Qualcomm, all right. Overall, so this is going to be my main focus. It's been showing signs of an uptrend pattern. This is what I like to see. And I think the cheat sheet, if I'm not mistaken, and let me know what you guys think, this is going to truly challenge you when it comes down to the basics of confirmation. So we have an overall uptrend pattern, right? The SMA line is pointing up, it pushed up, it made highs. We could even view, let's put like $92 as a resistance, right? So $92 as a resistance, it's pulling back, it's selling off. One of the things that I like to remind our Learn Plan Profit members is as we're waiting for something to reverse, the more patient you are for something to sell off, the more margin of profit you build for yourself for a potential recovery, right? So it's not about always trying to get in at the lowest price point, but again, getting in when the action is actually happening. And right now, it's still selling off. So why would you even want to put your money in there, right? It's just you're going to have to watch it and be a little bit more cautious about it. So I would set my alerts. I would see if, we actually begin to see some form of support, some form of, a change of direction. And once we get that confirmation, simple little question that you want to ask yourself: is the direction in your favor? Is the direction in your favor? Is the margin of profit worth it? And do we have the confirmation of direction that we can slowly begin to add more to our position size? And then, of course, something that you always want to have in place is some form of risk management. So is that at the break at the SMA line that you'll cut losses? Is that at 1%? Whatever it is that you set up as your form of risk management, so be it. But I'm going to set my alerts so the closer that we get to the SMA line, we can be reminded. But on top of that, if it does end up breaking its pattern and break below the SMA line, which is 100% possible, then we'll be alerted as well. But again, we don't have to worry if it continues to sell off because we're not already in the position. So as long as you stay true to yourself in allowing the opportunity to present itself and staying patient, you don't have to put your money in something that is still selling off in hope that it reverses. Patience pays. And again, I think that that's the challenge that we should try to focus on this week is, can you challenge yourself to stay patient, to truly allow an opportunity to present itself? So again, if you guys want to download this basics of confirmation cheat sheet, it's going to be the first link for you in the description. If you don't see it, just refresh your screen. I really hope that you like it. We've been making a couple of these, and again, they're all absolutely for free. Also, I did want to thank you guys. I wasn't able to say it within that same video, but we broke 232,000 members within our free TechBot Solutions group. That should be the second link down below if you guys want to join the team. We're the largest group in the world for those that day trade in the stock market, and we're also the largest YouTube channel. So I appreciate all you guys' support. I hope and wish you guys an amazing weekend and successful week. But again, it's not about what I wish or hope for, it's your actions. So again, ignore what everyone else is saying. Focus on, there being a reason behind everything it is that you do, and enjoy the process, right? It's not just about the money, but it's also enjoying what it is that you're doing every single day. And I think one of the most beautiful parts and most enjoyable parts about what I do, right, is that I challenge myself every single day with my ability to identify patterns. I challenge myself to stay patient and wait for confirmation. And of course, some days I do well and some days I fail, but that's the beautiful part about this market. It's that, it doesn't discriminate. It's just really gonna put you to the test and challenge you to see if you can truly allow an opportunity to present itself. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. Thank you for all those that tuned on in. I hope that I earned your thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section, or if you guys have any suggestions for this upcoming week and the cheat sheets that you guys would like me to make. I have 2 more that I'm going to be releasing this week, and again, they're absolutely for free. One of the friendly little reminders that I have for you is if you guys do want to join our Learn Plan Profit group, again, the Learn Plan Profit group is literally the only group that I work with on a closer basis, and you get to watch me trade live every day. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that and to see if it's a good fit for you, that's the 3rd link down below, and we explain everything that's included, so it comes at so it doesn't come at a surprise. I really do appreciate you guys' time, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it.